Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Three Edits Talk Aquariums podcast. We are very grateful that you've all tuned in to the podcast. This is our first episode, actually live streaming it. So, if you
Why
guys
are
are
we not
interested,
waving?
Because I haven't got
I'm
my phone
waving.
ready yet.
Oh,
Okay,
when,
sorry. We'll wave later then.
we got to wave for Cam's TikTok. Oh, here we go.
We can wave now. Ryan,
Do your
wave.
wave. Everybody,
Ryan,
do your
wave.
wave. If you're
My
listening, do
head
your
doesn't
wave.
work properly. I don't have wave. Look, I'm waving, but you can't see it.
No, tough luck. But yeah, so if you guys are interested, I mean, if you're listening on the podcast and you're interested on potential live streaming, where we can, I'm sure, get your guys' input in the comments in that. You can follow us on Facebook, join our new Facebook group, Instagram, the new. If you're on YouTube, I do a what do you call it? Like a schedule thing that I think came up. So if you follow us around, you can see it for next time when it's available in that. So hopefully that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, what have you guys been having going on in your fish rooms recently? Any exciting stories you'd like to tell, or any stories you'd like to tell?
Um, okay, well, I'll start then.
You
Firstly, I'm up
normally
in Firstly, I'm up in Kerry, and apologies if my audio and shit's bad because I'm outside at the Airbnb trying to get reception on my phone. So all good. Um, the fish room. What have I been doing in the fish room? Oh, I stripped some more trophies, so that's good. I'm happy with that.
To Boise.
Um, and Firefox. Um, so, and I've been chasing a leaking tank.
Mm. For
Something
how
new,
long?
exciting for me.
2 years.
This one's been going for a long time, but there's just been water appearing under the tanks, and there's three tanks that it could be. So I emptied one about a month ago, and then the leaking continued. So I emptied one about a week ago, and the leaking stopped. So I finally found which tank it is. So I'm like, yay!
Now
Another
comes
leaking
the fun
tank.
part.
Another leaking tank has been found. Now I've got to fix it, and then go for the next leaking tank, and the next leaking tank, and the next leaking tank. And yeah, so
Oh,
that's my
nice.
excitement of the fish room.
I
how many
suppose that's
leaking
still progress.
how many leaking tanks do you think you have in total?
Probably
All of them.
56. Yeah.
Out of 57?
No, I've got 56 tanks in there. 57 tanks actually in there. So yeah, 57 is probably leaked.
I suppose it could be
So
worse.
yeah, it could be inside the house.
Yeah. Then you'd be getting your beating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. More so than normal.
Mm. Well, what have you been going on, Cam? Any exciting breeding activities?
Had my gold ladies spawn, which was quite nice.
Your what?
What's that? Is that a quarry?
Yeah, gold laser corridors.
Oh, gold laser. I thought you said gold ladies, and I was like, what's a gold lady? That sounds like something you'd see on a Friday night on K Road, you know?
Must happened without me realizing because some of the eggs had already started getting all fungusy and moldy, which was a shame. So I collected what I could, which was about 10 in total, I think. So
Good
yeah,
stuff.
what happened there? And then on the flip side of that, all of the chili raspora that I bought the other day are all dead. So that sucked. Now I've
How
got
many is that?
20, 15.
Jesus,
15
that's not good
something like
going. That's not good
Yeah.
going at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
now
not
I've got
ideal.
a desk tank that is empty again.
Oh, I suppose. Nah, I was trying to think of the bright side, but I was like,
Did you
yeah, there isn't any.
your celestial pearls bred too, eh? And you've got fry?
Yeah. Yeah, there's 4, I think.
You should put
4
those four
fry.
fry in your disc tank. I mean,
No, because it's all black water and tinted and stuff, and they prefer clear water and crisp and bright and stuff. So
uh,
yeah,
just redo it.
they would just redo it. They were in the mix, and then did some more research and reading. I was like, it's not going to work for them, so that's why I went with the chili raspora.
And then the chili raspora were like, that's not going to work for us either.
To be fair, it wasn't working for them in the quarantine tanks either. That's why they went
Yeah,
into the desktop fast. I was like, I'm losing them hand over fist in there. So yeah,
We've
Try a
got our
different
first
supplier.
comment. We've
What?
got our
Try to-
first comment. Paul Peters reckons that you look like you're out of Harry Potter camp.
Yes, that's what I said. I reckon so too. I do think he looks like
Thank you,
old
Paul,
Harry
for the
Potter.
input.
Old Harry Potter who's let himself go and fallen off way too many brooms and eaten
No,
way
he
too
looks-
much of that magical stuff that you're not supposed to eat too much of.
No, he's
Mushrooms.
just got the Hagrid beard. That's the
The
thing.
Hagrid beard
There's
and the
not
Harry
a
Potter
Hagrid
glasses and the Harry Potter glasses and the 90s skater boy haircut.
He does indeed. Oh,
Yeah.
well, shall we
Hadn't-
rest for it?
hadn't-
Yeah, that's
What's
fine.
that?
Nothing.
I find Bora do often struggle when they come in. It's
Yeah.
hard to find good ones. It's particularly, I'm not going to name them, but this one supplier, I've bought them from them like 3 times, and I've had like maybe one fish survive. So it's hard, definitely, because I think that's where you would have bought them from. Because as far as I'm aware, they're the only one that's available, or has them available at the moment, and it's difficult because I think because they're such a small fish, they're obviously got tiny little organs, so they can't deal with that getting shipped halfway across the country as easily, I reckon.
The
They're
biggest
either-
thing that
they're either
I
great
always
or they're
find
not.
with it. Sorry, the biggest thing I always find with it is how do they? You guys have so many problems. How do they get them through bloody quarantine? Like they've obviously got hundreds of these things through, or even thousands of these things through quarantine, and then you guys get them and they drop dead. Like it's just, I don't know, the mind boggles. There must be something there that they're doing that you don't know about that is making them work.
I'm having a similar issue with red rainbow fish right now. They're dying basically one a day at the moment for no real reason either.
Oh, lame. I don't know if I've ever bought them, so I can't give you any experience on them, but they are cool fish, but
They are
not
quite cool.
maybe the most common one, shall we say.
Yeah. So it's a little bit frustrating too, but
Also,
we'll see how
Paul,
we go
I'm
when
not
I
a
do the
hostage, by the way.
What's
I just am. Paul reckons I'm being held hostage by these 2 idiots on this podcast. So,
Well, these what do you mean held hostage? Please elaborate.
because you're so boring, it looks like I'm just, I don't know, being held against my will. But no, it's also just 6 a.m., so that's just how I look.
Yeah, he's not a morning person.
Yeah, or an evening person. I'm a middle of the day kind of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have what have I have happened? Nothing too exciting has been happening for me recently in terms of breeding or anything. But I did get, I think maybe 2 weeks ago it was, maybe 3 weeks ago by the time this gets released, we talked briefly about the black capilli compressed seps. So they actually arrived a couple days ago, I think it was. So that's been pretty cool. They're like basically like, if you guys know what they are, if you think of a Calvis, it's kind of like that, except slightly different. So yeah, they've been pretty cool. They actually only yesterday they kind of got brave enough to start going out and about and exploring the tank and eating and stuff. And some of the bigger ones are getting their colors back and all this kind of thing. So that's been real fun just to hang around with. Like I always find myself just standing there just looking at them. Like I'm supposed to be doing some work or something, but I just stand there and look at them and I'm like, man, that is such an awesome fish. So
Yeah, they're seriously cool fish.
what are the differences between the from the Calvis and the comps? It's just head shape, eh?
I've never actually researched it.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but between these capilli and the comps, and the Calvis, their color is slightly different and pattern, I guess. Well, not pattern, but like they just like their
Yeah, but that's not
aesthetic.
it's swapping
Yeah,
differences between it. Yeah.
I suspect that there'll be some sort of like they'll have 3
Fin
more
count.
rays in their caudal fin or some shit like that, or their anal fin or something
Yeah.
like that, and there'll be
Also-
one extra scale on the head or something like that. There'll be something really
I thought it was
insignificant.
something to do with an angle, a slight different angle in the head shape as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
probably.
sense.
probably.
Because for all intents and purposes, they're the same fish.
Oh yeah, they're exactly the same. It's like there was most minor differences.
Yeah.
But because I think also
Yeah.
with the Calvis, I think their bottom jaw is a little bit more like, how would you say, like hooky on the
Hooky.
bottom. Like at the end, it's got a little more hooky thing going on, whereas the comps don't.
Doing
But
technical terms since forever, eh?
this is not three idiots know what they're talking about. So yeah, it's like more or less, the same, just like these minor little differences. But they are very
the-
cool fish.
And the
So,
cool thing about those comps is they've had a bit of a journey because I started off with them. I started off with 9. I paid a
Karen.
fortune and bought 9 of them, 9 originals, and they were just dropping off on me one by one by one.
Sounds
And then
familiar.
my mate was right into them, really wanted them. So I said to him, right, you can take him, and he's coming to Auckland like in a week. By the time he got there was only 3 left. And there was a pair and 1 extra. The other one died on him, and he ended up with a pair. That was probably a year ago, and now he's breeding hundreds of them. So they obviously work better for him than they do for me. Now he's trying to convince me to take the pair back, and I'm like,
I'm traumatized.
I don't know if I want to kill them because they're beautiful fish now. They're pretty cool.
They're pretty big,
so-
those parents now, judging from the picture.
Here's an option. Don't kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have
I
thought about
think
that
it
one,
was
Ryan.
the minute amount of chlorine in my water change system that doesn't
Here's
seem
an
to
option.
affect any other fish
Here's another option. The chlorinator.
for the water. Well, how do you do that inline?
Put a carbon block on it.
Yeah, could put an inline filter in. Yeah,
Build a
But I'd
big
like to-
water system. So
I
it's
love
free
how
drinking.
Cam just DIY'd you. Give you some
Yeah, he did
DIY
that.
advice, and Ryan's like, "Oh god,
So-
I didn't think of that one."
So
did I?"
I'll
Damn it,
have
he's got a
to. Now I have to call him DIY Daddy.
Please don't.
Oh, yeah.
I'd very much rather you don't.
DIY daddy. Woo!
DIY Daddy.
All right.
Okay.
That's
Well,
I think we're
please
done.
move
And
on.
what's the random question?
The random question is something that I forgot about thinking about because I've been trying to do all this live stream stuff and I forgot to think about one, to be honest. So how about you ask it today, Ryan?
Well, I don't have one prepared because it's your job.
Your segment. Sort it out.
I need. We'll skip it for this week because
No, I've got a random question for you then. Okay, if
Sure.
you guys could have any car, what color would it be? What car would it be? What color would it be?
Oh, that's a good
Like,
question.
Dream car. Like,
So, well, it's hard. So I've always had white cars. I've never not had a white car. Most
That's
of that is just
racist.
coincidence. But
that's because you live
I
on the
think-
North Shore of Auckland.
No, North Shore of Auckland people have what's that color?
Bugattis and
the real dark but not quite
the
black.
matte. Everyone will be
like
driving around in matte
the
cars
matte.
and matte cars
Yeah,
and,
matte.
and the satin Teslas, I think, and
like the
satin
glossy matte.
Audis. Yeah.
So, yeah. But no, I'd probably have. In saying that, I would probably have a black, ideally, like I don't know, Holden Commodore would be cool. That'd be fun. So yeah, that's my suggestion.
A black one, eh? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it would look dumb if it was white.
Yeah. But black's
Just a picture of your guys' face and the Three Idiots logo right across the side.
yeah. Okay. With my poo selfie face,
Exactly.
or a new one. Yeah.
No, both. What's your
Okay.
suggestion?
Mine.
Yep.
I guess I'm gonna go like real basic and go like it's hard because you've got like I think a GDR, some sort of GDR, R34 maybe. Yeah, something like that. Japanese
That's the
spec.
classic old.
But,
that's the old guy move.
Yeah. Yeah, but practically, I'd just like to get my Holden going because that'll be cool too.
Oh,
And
I think
I still don't know what color I'm going to paint that. So yeah,
anything, or just keep it rust, keep it Mad Max style.
patina.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Cam? A really fast horse?
Man, you're funny. Funniest thing I've
Yeah,
heard all
man.
day. To be fair, I've only been awake
To be
for
fair,
45
6
minutes.
a.m. You haven't heard much.
Chariot with mag wheels, or with wheels in general.
Either an A86 Toruno white on black, or maybe a Still 80 or a Type X 180SX would be my probably 3-hit combination.
Oh,
I can't really narrow them down from there, but one of those three.
That is a really random
Yeah.
answer. That's not what I was expecting.
I didn't expect that either. I didn't expect you to go JDM. I thought you
Because
would
I
have
don't
just said,
want
"Oh,
fucking horse losers.
I was expecting like a blue Toyota Aqua.
I was thinking something like that too. I was thinking you were going to go real like, oh, you know, my Camry's breaking down, so I'd just like a new Corolla or something like that, you know,
Oh, dear.
an orange or something stupid like that.
No.
Well, yeah. So
Well,
that's
different.
our cars. So if anyone wants to donate us some cars, you know where to find us. But
Yeah.
other than that, we are talking today. This is a fish podcast, so we should talk about some fish tanks probably. So the thing that I wanted to talk about today was our best like money saving tips. So I know where this is going to go, but I don't want to spend all our time talking about waste of money things. You know, we've talked about stability enough, am I right? But what I wanted to talk about was like tips or tricks or like methods, etc., of ways to save money. Because there's like one main reason is like all the time, you know, you talk to any fish keeper, everyone's, you know, there's kind of like this idea that like fish keeping is a money pit, which it certainly can be, like any hobby. We're talking about cars before. Fish is definitely cheaper than cars, but you can still spend a lot of money on both. So
are they?
depends on the fish, I suppose, but you know what I mean.
It does depend on the fish and the car, but if you go marine, you can definitely fit a couple of cars in a tank, you know.
Yeah, but or you can do one of those tanked ones and put a fish tank inside of a car. Hey, let's get creative.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
but we're talking about like normal everyday people, not.
But how would you?
Tank.
It would be hard to drive. You'd have to wear like scuba gear, unless
man,
you only half filled it.
And
well, I don't think any of us are ever going to run into that problem.
Do you know what this topic sounds perfect for?
What?
DIY daddy.
All right. Well, do you want to start us off then? Do you want to start us off then with your number one suggestion?
My first suggestion would be not to start with aquariums. Does that count?
No.
Or is that the opposite
not
of what
allowed.
we're trying to achieve? Oh, no.
No, not allowed.
Okay. Right. Would probably be running multiple tanks off an air pump or a massive air blower, something along those lines if you get into a bigger scale. But
so like a centralized air thing. So you're not running, 8 different air pumps. You're just running one bigger one.
One decent strong one on potentially a manifold or something similar. Set up
So
with
you
their own
think?
air valve.
So are you thinking more along the lines of saving on power on the ongoing sense, or are you talking about like just saving, on the initial setup where you don't have to buy 8 different air pumps, you can just buy one slightly bigger one?
Probably applies to both. Like obviously, one air pump running is going to be a lot less than 8 different filters running, most likely. And the chances of buying one air pump and then 8 sponge filters is probably going to be cheaper than running 8 different filters into one tank as well. So that's probably a bit of both on that one. There's ups and downs of sponge filters and that sort of stuff, but it definitely is a cheaper option for sure.
If you're wanting to run like a if you're
multiple
thinking
tanks.
more of it, and if you're thinking of them more along the lines of like a one area, like maybe you got one rack or something, instead of like having 8 different display tanks scattered around your house, that probably would make a lot more sense in terms of keeping it all in one area, but still maximizing that one area. That is why, like, pretty much, like, I think, I don't know what you do, Cam, but like, I run all my tanks on sponge filters. I know Ryan runs his fish room on sponge filters, and it's like very. If you go to like any, if you're ever lucky enough to get to any medium-sized fish rooms, like you go buy something off someone, a lot of the time people are just running central air systems with like one, maybe two big blowers or something. But so what would be? I don't know if you've thought about this, but what would be? Is there any like downsides or things to consider where like maybe this isn't the most suitable option for everyone or something like that?
Yeah, sponge filters suck.
Valid. Can't argue with that. They're cheap and easy, but obviously, like in terms of the
Well, they're
aesthetics
ugly.
and that,
They're ugly.
Biologically, sponge filters are phenomenally good. I just
Yeah.
find mechanically they're very average at best.
I
yeah,
find them
Just
pretty
like-
good mechanically, but as soon as they just get clogged really fast. That's the problem because they're so fine holes. So you know, every
that
month or
makes
two you've got to
them
clean them out.
average.
But if I've got a dirty tank and I put a sponge filter in it, it'll clear it up. It'll go clean as. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like,
It's just
it'll
more
go
an
clean as.
ongoing thing.
And you put an extra hang-on back filter or an internal filter, it'll probably clear it out as well because you're increasing the filtration, arguably.
Yeah, but so they're still good for mechanical filtration. But they're
Yeah,
ugly. They're ugly. And
Yeah.
if you don't like the bubbly, if you like it's in your bedroom or something, and you don't like bubblies, then that's also a problem.
Yeah.
some sponge filters.
And Bristol
I think, aren't ugly.
Bristol noses eat them.
Yeah, so do apple snails,
Oh yeah,
Mm.
man. It's horrible.
and they don't hold up to potassium permanganate treatment either. Just for the record.
Well,
Oh, I
I've
didn't know
never
that.
run into that, but I have found the Wonder Tonic. It clogs them real fast, and you have to spend like
Oh,
at
that's-
20. I find then you have to spend 20 minutes cleaning it out because you squeeze it. Like
Yeah.
you know
And it
how
comes
when
out
you
blue.
do tonic, well, more green, but you know how when you do tonic, it's like real dark when you first do it, and then it gets lighter and lighter over the course of a few days. That's because it gets caught in a filter, and then you squeeze it out, and it's like so hard to get out. You have to spend like ages getting it out. So if
Man,
you
I
ever
wouldn't have
run
thought-
into these issues,
I wouldn't
that
have
will
thought
be
the
why.
filter could pick that up because it's like so dissolved, you know, it's like part of the water.
I mean, I think it's just the green that it catches. I don't think it catches
Ah,
anything
yeah.
else. But
Mm.
to be honest, I've never really thought about it that deeply.
Is it
But
a dye so people don't drink it like they put colour in petrol, or is it the active ingredients actually are green? Do you know?
it's so this one I don't know how to pronounce, so don't laugh at me. But it's the Malachite green.
Wouldn't- I
They
don't
put
think
it.
there's Malachite green in it. I don't think
There's
I don't think there's green in it. I googled it the other day.
So it's some sort of
I
dye
looked it up
additive.
and I thought there was.
No, I always thought there was too, but it's like quinine, archiflavin, I can't pronounce them, and meth blue.
Well, I got Google coming, and it's loading. So I'm gonna
Yeah, okay.
hold
You can
the phone.
We need like a fact check sound effect.
Okay. Well, this first website doesn't even say the ingredients, so that's not helpful.
You have to Google Wonder Tonic ingredients. I did it last time we talked about it. But anyway,
Okay. I can't
I'm
find.
gonna go. I'm gonna go
I'll look
into
it up
my.
later.
I'm gonna go into my. I've got lots of cost saving chips, but the first one is if you want to get an aquarium or especially a bigger one, then just become a bargain hunter and just
Yep.
start trawling Facebook Marketplace and groups and Trade Me and stuff because man, I've seen so many bargains that people have spent like $3 or $4 grand on go for like $500 or $600, you know.
Yeah.
And also just be real vigilant with like making sure you buy a good one if you're buying secondhand. Like you don't want to buy like check the silicone and all that sort of stuff, or don't want to buy a scratched up tank and stuff like that. But yeah, there's definitely lots of bargains out there that people have, and especially for bigger tanks, it's harder to move them on, so people do end up selling them really cheap. You know, like I got my almost 1,000-litre display tank in my lounge for $800, and they'd paid $5 grand for it 2 years earlier. You know, and it's mint.
Yeah.
Just
there is-
because it's ginormous and they couldn't move it, the company was going to charge them $2 grand to move it into storage, You know,
Isn't it-
so by the time they
Isn't it funny
Sorry?
that if they're a seller and they're like, "Oh, I want to sell this for $4,000," people say that they're ripping other people off. But if you're a buyer and you're buying something for significantly less than what it's worth, you're getting a bargain. Slightly off topic, but isn't it quite crazy?
It is funny how the mind works. I don't think that any price is a rip-off. I mean, I look at a lot of prices and laugh and say it's never going to sell for that. But I mean, people can ask whatever they want to. You can just keep on scrolling and not buy it. I mean, they'll find out soon enough what the market's doing. Some people also market things really well and manage to sell them for more than what they should. You know,
and what it's worth to you can be different to what it's worth to somebody else as well. Someone might have seen it on $800. That's an absolute rip-off, and you've gone, man, it's a bargain. So, yeah.
And the thing is, though, we had to get it, 3 stories up out of an office building and stuff, and it was 1,500 by 900 tank in 12 mil glass. So just for them to get rid of it,
a sack of bricks.
The only saving grace is I had this trolley that fit in the elevator that we put it on and wheeled it through the bloody building. So yeah, but yeah, bargain hunt.
Yep,
that's my thing.
So yeah, those kind of secondhand websites are really good. Like you said, Facebook Marketplace, Trade Me. There's even, I often see them in like local community groups and stuff like that, like the buy and sell groups. You can definitely find them. The other thing as well, I find, is with that you want to make sure you're patient, because like stuff will always come up, but like maybe you can't get it like right today, but maybe it's like, over the course of a couple of weeks or something, you'll be able to find a good one for someone who's moving overseas or something and wants to get rid of it. And then that way you can obviously save your money for buying more more fish to go in the tank. So yeah, it is a good one, because I think what's the stat? It's like half of all or like 3/4 of all fish keepers like stop after less than 1 year or something. And it's
Is
like,
that true?
I don't know. That's not. I thought that was something. There's definitely a big amount. I don't know the exact number, but
say anything with confidence, and people will believe you.
Yeah,
no,
you just turned into a politician and made up a statistic on the spot.
No,
right there.
I specifically said, what is it?
Did answer a question for me. It's a yes or no question. Did you study politics?
Well, not that kind of politics.
It's a yes.
Sure.
It's yes or no question. There you go. Okay. Thank you.
But yes. So back on topic. There's a lot of people that will get rid of them cheap, which is always good. So yeah, that always works well. But yeah, I was going to say something else about it, but now I've forgotten it. So did you guys have anything else about the politician? Did you guys have any other?
Oh, sorry. I also had something else happen this week that is quite exciting. I met up with a friend and fan of the show.
Any of those.
Ooh la la.
Fan of the show, Dex or Daniel Wexton down in Hamilton. So shout out to Daniel. He listens to all our shows and then just sends me random shit harassing me all the time about it. Yeah,
makes sense.
But, he bought. What's that?
That's what Braxton does to me. Listens to all the shows and gives me shit about it.
You deserve it.
Yeah. He messages me before he listens to them now, and he says, "Any as bad as that? Who wants to be a fish thing, or is this one worth watching?" So
the real question is: does Cam have a psychopathic fan that's going to come and stalk you and slash you up in your sleep like we do?
What?
No. I think Paul's his biggest fan, thinking that he's imprisoned.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, he bought in from Poland or something. He saw them on an overseas website. These big, massive PVC. Well, that sounds a bit like it was going to go somewhere else. They're fish posters and they're printed on PVC, right? So it's just really cool, massive thing. It's like probably 1.6, 1.8 meters long, about 800 wide. Just covered in like photos of real cool fish. So he got me, unbeknownst to me, a Mambuna one. So and he got himself a Tropheus one, and there might be another one floating around too somewhere, I think, that might come out later. But my partner was away, so I put it up in the hallway, and just put it in the hallway. And well, I'm away at the moment, so I'm assuming it's not there anymore. She's probably
It's just
rolled it up for me.
burned.
She wouldn't destroy it because she's not like that. But she's been quite strongly opposed to it. She hasn't had very positive comments about it. So
Makes sense.
yeah,
It's a very
I'll have to
specific
put,
home decorating style.
I'll have to put up a photo of it in the group because it's really cool. Like there's just hundreds of cool fish on it, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, no, it looks
All
pretty
from the
awesome.
lake, all from all in the wild and stuff. A lot of them taken by Ad Connings and you know. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Nice, sounds good. Well,
The
I like
the
it.
actual plan for it was inside the fish room door, but I just thought that I could annoy Kim and the kids a little bit by putting it up in the hallway, see how far I can get away with it.
Oh, well, I suppose we'll find out if you got away with it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so my next tip, or not tip, but suggestion would be, so that I've got two. One of them I don't actually know that much about, so I'm just going to throw out there and then you guys can talk about it, is DIY food. So, like, I know you have made your own in the past, Ryan, and I think I'm not entirely sure if you'd save all that much money, but you can do some really good food for relatively cheap, and that would be in using obviously it depends on what kind of fish you're feeding, but like things like spirulina or prawns or doing your own insects, all that kind of thing, and then making it into a food. So yeah, what
Yeah, I
was I
mean,
say? So,
and on that one, I've made it quite a few times, and I often think maybe I should get into it. The problem with me is making it in the quantities I need is quite significant, and
you got nowhere to put it.
I've actually got a freezer there that I could use that we don't use
Oh.
anymore, that I could use fish food. But the problem, I haven't actually weighed up if I can back up that it is cheaper or not, but surely it is. Often
I
buying
actually
the
don't think it is.
ingredients, often buying the ingredients to start with is expensive. Like agar's not cheap unless you've got to shop around for it. Spirulina powder's not cheap and stuff, so you've got to buy up all the stuff to do it with. But if you can get the ingredients cheap enough, it'll make sense. In summer, it's cheaper too because you buy broccoli and stuff, and it's cheap, and carrots and whatever else that are in season.
Grow your own.
I've questioned whether or not it's actually cheaper or not multiple times. Like I said, by the time you buy everything, it's quite a significant haul to what you can kind of get. The flip is that you know exactly what's going in it, which is a massive bonus. The flip of that is, are you actually giving your fish the nutrition that they need, or are you just doing it because humans need carrots, for example, so the fish need carrots as well? Like, I think a lot of people base it on a human diet as opposed to what the actual fish specifically need when they make them up, if that makes sense.
Of course. The thing you have to be careful with is
how many people actually put bugs and insects in it? It's pretty standard of like spinach, spirulina, prawns, fish, that sort of scenario, which, theoretically there's a lot of fish that don't consume that.
Yeah. The thing I think you have to be careful of is you do see a lot of times on like, the internet and that, people making fish food, and you're like, that is just crap. Like there's a lot of people that make real bad ones, but then equally there's a lot of people that make real good ones. So it is that balance.
Considered good. I guess that was my point.
Yeah, when I did mine, I used to put like blueberries in it, paprika and garlic and spirulina, and I used to make and put peas and carrots and broccoli and kale and spinach and
what's the logic behind it? Like, what nutrients, macros and micros are the fish getting from these things, or what are you trying to achieve from it compared to like the human mindset of we're doing it because humans say garlic and stuff's good for you. I don't think a lot of people research back the fish food they make up. It's just on these ingredients are good for me to eat, so they should be good for the fish.
And I don't think it's going to be bad for your fish unless you. If you generally follow some recipes. I mean, obviously, if you're putting cooked chicken and from KFC, and it's probably not going to be that good for your fish, you know.
I don't know.
But
KFC makes everything
I
good.
mean, yeah, I mean, KFC is a bad example because there's nothing bad about KFC.
Nothing bad about
Anyway,
that.
but I still would probably err on the side of caution and still feed a prepared food as well. Also, I mean, if you are spending like say $30-40 on all this stuff and you're making kilos of food, it probably is cheaper than buying, but then a lot of it probably is water. So,
But
yeah.
for for that kind of price, you can still get a container of pasture that probably equates to about a kilo at the same time. So like, there's other things that financially, there's lots of stuff that kind of balance it to about the same point anyway.
I think the real big variable is what you're trying to feed. Like I think some like it really will vary on what kind of fish you're trying to feed, and so what ingredients you need to put in, and then what
And where they
comparative
want to eat
options
from
there
the
are
water
around.
column as well.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, exactly. Because the other thing that I think is in the same vein, well, very similar vein at least, would be like the live food cultures. So, for example, like what's an example? Like Daphnia, pretty much is not going to cost you very much to buy a little starter, and then after that, it's pretty much free. Even you can sell off such starter cultures to people for a little bit of extra money, and then that would be another way of making your own food for very close to nothing, and it kind of just will keep ticking over. And there's lots of different things you can do it with. Like Daphne is one example, where you can do white worms, microworms, earthworms, mealworms. Like
Once you've got your culture, you're away.
yeah, exactly. And there's options for like you got little tiny microfish, or you got like big predator fish or something, and anything in between. There's like options for all of them. So you're able to. Oh well, we lost Ryan, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, but you got options for like whatever type of fish you're trying to feed. You can pretty much, no matter what, do a live food culture that's gonna be quite cheap and quite kind of easy. Is the other thing as well. So yeah, that's what I'd say would be a good option for sure. In that similar
Just
kind of
live
food vein.
Just a side note, if you are making your own food, you can thin it out onto like a baking tray with a bit of parchment paper. Put your oven on really low and make your own flakes. Just cook it off for several hours, or put it on a food dehydrator. It's got a really thin, and you can make up your own flakes. So if your fish prefer to eat flakes, you can do it that way as well.
Fish's food is also it's so surprisingly hard to make properly. Like getting the ratios of agar to mix and all that sort of stuff. God, I had so much trouble with that, trying to get it to set, because I wanted to make it like almost like a Apache type thing and get it to actually stick together, so it didn't just turn into a cloud in the tank as soon as you dropped it in. So yeah,
something actually edible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was just thinking, man, I should do that again. I was like, did I write down the ratio of agar to food? Because man, I don't want to go through that again. I don't think I did.
Yeah, that's not ideal, shall we say? But hey, just wing it, man. It's not three idiots know how to make fish food, is it?
Yeah.
Could be.
But yeah,
give it another month. It will be.
Yeah. Well, you can give it a go next week, Ryan, and then you can come back to us and you can tell everyone the correct agar ratio for your recipe, and then no one else has to go through this horrible experience.
I've probably still got a couple of trays of food sitting in the freezer somewhere. I'm thinking, that stuff's been there over a year. It's probably no good now.
Just give it the old taste test and see what happens.
Yeah.
Ironically, there's a good chance that it's all 100% human consumable.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'd say so. Yep.
Depending
on what it would taste like. Well, there's
only one way to find out.
Challenge for the listeners.
It'll be a chunky soup.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. All right. So what's your next suggestion, Ryan?
My next suggestion. Now, I don't want to get this one to turn into I don't want to turn this one into a shit fight. Okay, it's not going to be a shit fight, and we're not going to.
That's a terrible way to start.
But
start this question.
I'm going to start with just saying, just watch the amount of stuff that you put in your tanks. Like a lot of people think regularly on a weekly or 2 weekly basis, you've got to stick lots of different stuff into your tank. Like, of course, yes, you should use a dechlorinator, but there's not much else when your fish are happy and healthy apart from food and water that you should be sticking in your tank. I've met so many people that say, oh, fish keeping is so expensive because I have to buy all those bloody things and put them in every week. And then I run out and then they panic and they got to go to the shop and all this sort of stuff to buy the stress coat and the whatever else they're adding on a regular basis. Once your tank is established and set up, you shouldn't be adding everything regularly apart from prime and food and water. So save yourself money and time doing that.
I do agree. A lot of the things you're talking about. So like, I don't know if you want to name drop them, but are quite expensive, which is obviously not ideal. There's also like, of course, some of them work, some of them don't. That's not really what we're talking about. It's more like just buying them is like, I don't know, maybe it's like $40 for like 500 mils that'll last you like 3 months. Doesn't sound like a lot, but they add up. If you've got a few different things like that you want to add. Whoops.
Still cheaper than petrol at $4 a litre that lasts you 12 seconds. Hey-o!
Comedy gold.
Yeah, but I mean, I just see so many people think that fish keeping is expensive because they're adding all this crap they don't need to add to their tank, and they're just paranoid that if they don't have this stuff, their fish are all going to die. And whether it works or not, I'm not arguing about, because we don't want to do that at the moment, especially at 6:42
That's a
in the
different
morning.
episode.
Where do you sit with the people that have used all these products for so long, and then all of a sudden they stop using them and something goes wrong with the tank?
I pretty much guarantee that obviously I don't know what products they're using and for what purpose. Okay, so I can't make a blanket statement, but I'd say most people that are using most of these things, and I've met many of them and said, stop using that crap and nothing will change. They've stopped using that crap and nothing has changed, and they've gone, oh, thank you. I'm saving so much more money and time and stress now than dosing all this stuff every week. So that's my experience. Obviously, if people will invent any magical elixir and tell you to add it on a regular basis to get you on a regular sale. Some of it will work, some of it won't. I haven't seen every elixir in the world or tested every elixir in the world, so there probably is some really good stuff. I know Cam you were looking at some really good stuff, probiotics and stuff like that clean up tanks and that sort of thing. That sort of stuff actually sounds interesting to me and seems to have some sort of backing. But again, it might just be an ad, might not actually.
But it's even one of those ones, like, even if it does work, maybe you don't need it.
Is it
depends
needed?
on what you're after, what you're trying to do. Like some people might really want it and really get a lot of value out of it. And of course, if that's you, keep doing it. But some people don't want it and just kind of get like, sold it, I guess. And it's like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal.
And I've been into big chain fish stores, and sometimes I just go in there and just chill for a little bit and look at the fish and listen to what's going on. And I've literally followed people around buying their first tank, and the people with the that are selling it to them are literally just got like a basket, and they're just sweeping products into this basket. Oh, you'll need some of this, and you'll need some of that. You need to add this every week, and you need to do this, and da 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 da. And I'm just going, oh my god! And this person spent like $200-300 extra on crap they didn't need. You know what I mean? And
our lovely listeners don't have to do that now because you've told them the lowdown.
Yeah, and they say, well, what does it do? I'll read the bottle. The bottle says what it does.
No.
So anyway, I think we'll move on from that one. I don't want to cause an argument, even though some of our listeners are here for the arguments and the drama and the controversy. We do have to respect them.
Have you set up two tanks, one au naturel and one with stuff in it, and see if there is any difference in the return on the fish?
Nah. Now, I've thought about doing stuff like that, but it's so much effort to get the controls right.
Yeah, so
to be able to eliminate every single thing.
So at the moment, where you're working on potential as opposed to actual?
Well, at the moment, I'm working on anecdotal evidence that...
that's the word I was after.
Yeah, anecdotal evidence
The other
that
thing,
we
though,
can.
the other thing I think is even like for a lot of, I don't want to name drop, but like a lot of things, even if they do work, it's still not needed. It's just like extra. Like sometimes people like it and whatever, but like the ones that like oh, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called, but you put it in and it like clears the water. That's not needed. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it. Even if it
flocculants and
works, you
stuff.
don't just put some filter
But-
floss in. Don't freak out.
Yeah, but there's people that want to go to that next level, so they do work and bring into that next level.
Yeah, but that's not massively who we're talking about, I guess. We're talking about more the people that kind of just like float along
And
and get like
again,
sold it and then just get into that habit.
anecdotally, when you see all these aquariums online that are absolutely sparkling, and you ask them what they're using, and there's half a shopping trolley full of products, but it's clearly working.
Yeah, but that's still not what we're really talking about, though.
The interesting thing is, I often have this thing in the back of my mind is people will say, "Oh, it works for me," right? But
Yeah.
often it works for them is their fish aren't dying, but they don't know if it's actually doing anything.
Like Rowan can keep his Kipling alive, and you can't, but it works for him.
Yeah, but it's like I've added this stuff to my tank. My tank is cycled. My fish are happy, so it works for me. But,
yeah, like I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. We're using Cam's what's the word? The quillimagulator. That's actually, I'm making words up now.
It's called flocculant.
That's not a word.
It's
That's definitely not a word.
It's basically designed for pull filters and stuff. So yeah.
So these things do work. Like there is evidence and there is proof that this does work. So if people want to take their aquarium to the next level of clarity and they want to use a product that's going to do that, that does work.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. But we're not. It's amazing.
It's amazing that the biggest. Oh, we always go off topic. Is now all of a sudden in talking about flocculants and we're talking about saving money. Come on, man. We need to stay on topic. We need to stay on topic here, all right?
It's still on topic because it's the topic that you brought up.
I think
on your thing.
I think for this kind of thing, what we're talking about is like
race cars and Pocatello right now. We're talking about what you brought up.
And Pocatello's gone now, man. Got to move on.
Yeah, man.
Whatever.
But for this kind of thing, the people we're talking about is like people who it's like cleaning the glass is going to make much more of a difference than putting this thing that I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, but like it's going to make a much more
Kwame.
Sound like Harry Potter again.
And I said they're very crumulent.
But it's going to make a much bigger difference to just clean the glass than to pour all this stuff in. We're not talking about people doing like professional aquascapes or whatever. Just talking about someone who's got like a family who's got a little tank, on their living room or something like that.
I've got a customer if you want to has a tank in their lounge as a family, and they buy that product every couple of months, and they love it and makes the tank sparkle.
Sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
No one's saying it doesn't work. It's just not necessary. If they want it,
if they're adding it for a purpose, and they're happy with it, my thing is if you're putting all these elixirs in there, thinking they're keeping your fish alive and not actually understanding what they're doing or not adding them for a purpose, then it's a waste of money. That's my statement. So
All right. So what's your next suggestion?
You previously said that it doesn't work. I don't have one. I have no idea, honestly.
You've got no ideas.
No, you brought the topic. I was like, oh man, I've got other than the sponge filters on an air pump. I've got no fucking clue.
Okay, I've got another. Have you got another one, Cam? Or you good?
Yeah, I got heaps.
Okay, cool. I was going to say insulation.
Oh, I've got
insulation.
What? I've got one.
Insulation. You want to steal insulation?
No, I've got an idea. I've got one.
Okay.
Can I have my turn now?
Fire away.
Can I have my turn? I want my turn.
Have your turn then, go.
Right. So those stupid cartridges that come in those stupid filters that you have to replace every 2 bloody weeks. Get rid of them. And
that's what I was
going
to say.
Yes, I've got one. Replace them with bio noodles and filter floss. Yes, job done.
Do you know what's my
filter media is a
opinion?
big one? Yeah.
You don't even really need filter floss. Just chuck in a whole bunch of noodles or something in that little. So like we'll give the whole rundown so people know. Like if you've got like a marina filter or a Aqua One trickle filter or something, those little cartridges, just pull those out and then just yeet them as far as you can, and then in that little chamber, just drop in those little noodles, or whatever brand you want to use, doesn't really matter. Just drop in those noodles and it'll be fine. Don't even worry about filter floss. Just chuck them in and you'll be safe. Especially
filter floss is kind of important to get the shit out of the water, though, isn't it?
Yeah. How are you
Or is
doing
that
your
other-
mechanical filtration?
You what? Sorry.
Well, it will be fine. It will be fine, and the fish will live, but it'll be pretty manky looking tank. It won't pick up any shit.
How are you doing your mechanical filtration?
Well, so for this kind of thing, we're talking about like a general like little community tank that's say it's got like, for example, a betta and like a bunch of neons or something.
Okay.
Don't really need that much mechanical filtration. Their turds are tiny.
But you've given no mechanical filtration. So, Mr. Politician, how are you dealing with the mechanical filtration?
He's going to
It's
talk
fine
around
because
it.
it doesn't get that dirty in the first place.
I disagree. I think you should put some filter wool in there, and then it'll stop it from poop and make the tank look nicer. Something simple.
Next time you guys come, well, it'll be half a can, but next time you guys come to the shop, I'm going to show you guys the filters I've done this on, and there's no problem. Especially for those, what do they call them? Those Aqua One ones from like the Eco Styles.
Do you gravel back it?
Not that intensely, but a bit. But those Aqua. What? It's fine.
Why are you blowing my mind with no mechanical filtration?
It's not that hard of a concept, but those Aqua One Eco Style filters.
Yeah.
With those ones especially, I find a lot of people run into trouble when they're dealing with those by putting filter floss in and then not keeping real on top of it, and then it backs up and it leaks.
They do overflow. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So just especially for those kind of ones, just put the ceramic media in, and it'll be fine. You're not gonna trust me, guys. You're not gonna have that much mechanical stuff floating around. Assume for an African cichlid tank.
Is that because you're using Clarity to pick up all the flocculants?
Yeah, man. I love me a good flocculant.
That was the wrong use of the word. Also, I love how he's using these emotional words like trust and stuff in his speeches, like a politician. I like it. You can trust me. I am your one source of truth.
Well, what I'm gonna do is later today, I'm gonna put a picture or video or something of a tank that's got only biological filtration in it, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll see it when I
play.
Okay, so I've got two of those just bubble filters at each end of one of my display tanks. Those just moving media bubble filters.
Oh yeah. Like the K1,
they are
little bottle thing.
Yeah. So they are basically zero mechanical filtration, but they're all biological. So biologically, the aquarium is sweet as it sounds. It's stable. It's not going anywhere. But mechanically, there is shit everywhere because it doesn't have anything to pick it up.
You said it's a large. I think what you're saying is it's a large tank with messy fish, and Cam's saying in a smaller tank with not messy fish.
It's 150 liters with 5 shellies and 2 cynodontists, 2 small cynodontists. So it's not a lot of bioload, and then you're not big fish, and it's messy as shit.
That's random as.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I'll put a video of my one that's got
at the end of the day,
mostly guppies, so it'll be fine.
At the end of the day, your fish aren't going to die, but I would, if it goes manky, you probably should chuck some sponges in there. And I agree with you guys. A lot of people spend a lot of money on media when you can usually just wash it out and reuse it. You don't have to replace it. The books will obviously say buy a new one and put a new one in.
Yeah, I genuinely think those cartridges are the failure of so many new people in the hobby.
It's just straight up a scam. It's
a
legitimate scam.
And the stuff in them is not even biologically that fantastic. It's carbon. But you're throwing out any potential goodness that you've got every couple of months.
Throwing out anything out of your filter is usually a bad idea. With the exception of like carbon if you're adding it for a purpose. You know, like, but apart from that, you should keep everything in your filter and just wash it and wash it and wash it. And if it decays or rots away, put some more in.
This is gonna segue beautifully into another unpopular opinion of mine, and that is save money by not buying fancy filter media, like what do they call it?
Yeah.
Like Matrix and Biohome and stuff. 10 out of 10 not needed. Just put like that real I don't know what they call it, but like the budget Aqua one or like Scoria or something like that. It'll be fine. It'll do the same job. You're never going to run out of surface area in an aquarium. And if you do, you've got, but maybe if you've got like, one of those arowana tanks where there's like literally nothing except media, maybe that's an exception to the rule. But like for 99% of average aquariums,
wouldn't that be excessive if you've got a shitload of media and just one fish?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about those tanks where it's like just glass and nothing else, and like we all know, oftentimes they're not that big tanks and stuff. But like, I don't know, maybe it depends on the situation there. But for like, normal aquariums, like you're not going to run out of surface area. If there's not enough surface area in the filter, they'll live on, the decorations in the flow or something. So like, it's fine. So don't waste your money buying like the super fancy, super expensive, like even like K1 and stuff. Massive ripoff. Just buy like, Aqua One does a good budget one that's real easy to clean, or like you can use Scoria. I don't really like Scoria, but like you can. Scoria.
It's just like it's literally
your whole life will be red for the rest of your life, or you'll get red dust. But
it's just
fine.
it's just
annoying.
It's the Tesla flex of fish keepers, really, isn't it? It's like I've got.
I know
the K1
exactly
media,
what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? I've got K1 media. I've got the K1 in there. I've got $500 worth of media in there. It's like, well, you just wasted your money. But anyway,
it's like just
you've got it. And
go to the Dalton's yard and buy a tube for like $8 and you'll be fine.
Can you premise that and depends on what sort of filtration you're trying to achieve with it? Like Matrix works really well for anaerobic bacteria.
Oh, there's anaerobic and anaerobic and all that sort of stuff. I mean,
I read
so it all works. I think
it works really, really well if that's what you're trying to achieve and that's what you're trying to do.
Well, the thing is, I've read maybe what was it? Maybe 6 months ago, I did a lot of reading about all this anaerobic stuff. And
was your reading on aquarium science? Because if it is, it's already debunked as shit.
I don't think it actually was.
Also, there's a lot of articles on there that are actually linked to scientific papers. If you read them,
I read 5 on Monday, and I did not see any scientific backing behind it. So far,
I think it's what you're looking for at the moment. I think it's what you're looking for, and if you're going into it with an open mind. But anyway, carry on.
I read them, and I was looking for the citations.
This is gonna. Actually, I was thinking we should do an episode about the Aquarium Science website, but there's another day. What we're talking about today is saving money. I'm going to continue what I'm saying. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So there's so much. It's really hard to find because, like, I've for like every one article you find that says like about how anaerobic bacteria doesn't work. Or like in this situation, you also find one about how it does work. So like I have no idea, but either way, it's not needed. I don't think it's a waste of time and a waste of money. Like you'd be much better doing a sand filter, for example, if that's what you're trying to do. Also, because sand is like $1 for like 20 kgs. So
if you're claiming that all of these medias aren't needed and you can go cheap stuff, I'm going to dare you to remove all your filter media off the shop and just sell pot scrubbies.
Well, I pretty much only sell the Aquan budget, that stuff that's like, it's like Scoria but with no dust. Pretty much that's all I sell anyway. So
semi-sub or whatever it is. Do you not sell the Matrix anymore?
I have it around because people always specifically ask for it, but I tell them not to.
Well, hey, this is a politician talking again, isn't it?
Well, don't you still sell filter cartridges?
He's just doing what the people desire. He's a politician after all.
And I mean, to be fair,
are you going to get rid of it all and sell pot scrubbies?
I guess
I
it
actually
does work.
honestly have
I guess
never
it does
thought about
work.
that, but genuinely I am going to look it up see if
Yeah.
I can buy pot scrubbies cheap. But the other
Yeah.
thing is, like, Matrix is fine. It's not going to do any damage, and like it's definitely easy to clean and stuff. But it's just, what is it, like 3 times the price? And it's like, I don't think you get 3 times the value. Is the thing.
Mm.
I
And
think
some people
Tom,
do
by
want to
the
have
way,
it just for that factor, that factor of being
the flex factor.
feeling up exactly, the Tesla Matrix factor.
Yeah,
Tesla Matrix.
and
We're gonna change Tesla
It's a new
Matrix.
scientific term that I'm gonna coin. Yeah, the Tesla
so
Matrix
Tom is
factor.
sitting in the chat, by the way, and I think he's wanting blood. He's wanting me and Cam to just come to blows over this Matrix debate. So I think we should move on to whoever's turn it is
Like-
next to
Like
suggest
every,
something.
I would be curious to know longevity of fish health, and I believe Matrix or some similar product can help because the anaerobicness can keep nitrates down and all that kind of stuff. So I'd be curious to know if people used it correctly and the way that it's designed to be used, what the return on that would be.
And it's almost impossible to
100%.
determine.
That's
And
you're
also the
And
only
much like-
information you'll find is sponsored by the people that make it. So
And much
Not
like the
independent.
theory of K1 is that because there's so much of it moving around, you can stock your tank significantly higher. A lot of people that use K1 traditionally have really heavily stocked tanks because there's more bio to move around, all that kind of stuff. Again, it'd be interesting to see the longevity on how that actually works for fish health and
I'm not
water
entirely
clarity.
sure that's true.
You know,
I
reckon?
find more people use K1 just because it looks nice. Like, full disclosure, that's why I have my Zis K1 thing, because I just like looking at it. And like
Really?
a lot of people, you see a lot of pictures online, and it's like maybe it is slightly heavier stocked than the average tank, but they're not like teeming with fish. I don't think.
Yeah,
Like, sure, some are, but I don't think they are. Always.
Most of the K1s I've looked at have been significantly well-stocked tanks, like borderlining psychopathic type stock.
Well, I
So
haven't
anyway,
seen those ones.
that-
But
there you
yeah.
go. But you can definitely save some money by being savvy with multimedia. That is the take home message from that one, right?
All right.
Just
So
use Bunsfield.
whose turn?
Yeah.
Is it my turn now?
I want to talk about insulation before someone else poaches it.
Okay,
So
go away. I mean, go to town.
I've got one, insulation.
Go to town.
so many times. This is more talking for multiple tanks. Okay, so if you got one tank, it's probably not going to make a significant amount of issue to you, unless you live in like a house that's full of holes, like I do in Helensville. But you see a lot of people set up a lot of tanks in areas with no insulation, particularly over summer when it's nice and warm, like a garage or something like that. They go, "Oh, this is great! I'm picking up all these tanks. I'm going to breed fish and da 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 da." And then as soon as winter hits, they get like a $1,500, $2,000 power bill, and they're like, "Oh my god, I've got to sell all my tanks. I can't afford it anymore." And it's just dumb. So you'll save a shitload of money with lots of tanks if you insulate them. And you can insulate the room, or you could put some poly around the tank and stuff and try and mitigate the heat losses.
I'm gonna while you're talking about this, I'm gonna throw out something that I think is related for you to talk about, and that is heating a room compared to heating a specific tank, and how insulation plays in all that. So that's something else
While
we
we're talking about it, I want to also throw out for individual tanks, you can stick polystyrene behind them.
Yeah.
And that helps keep warmth in as well.
Behind them, on the sides, you can even put it on the top and stuff. It does help.
Depends on how you
I mean,
use it.
you're still going to have a really poor insulator and glass at the front or something like that, unless you cover that up at night, I guess. But yeah, it's a bit of a insulating the tank is a bit of a interesting one. I've got friends that have got fish rooms that have built a plywood box and insulated it and put lights in it and keep the tanks inside that in their garage.
Right.
You know, that's what
Complete
Daniel does in
behavior.
Hamilton. You know, but it saves them a lot of money and power. A lot of money and power. You know,
makes sense. It's worth it.
So, and your question was heating the room versus heating the tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of an insulated room heated, keeping the fish tanks warm, because it saves a lot of power, but also unless what happens to me where the heater sticks on and kills all your fish, So don't do that. Make sure you
Not
have proper
recommended.
proper thermostats and proper monitoring systems, which I do now. But otherwise, if you've got, like, I got 57 tanks in there. If I had 57 heaters in there and 57 power points, it'd be an absolute debacle. It'd be just a shambles, you know.
Heaters exploding every 5 seconds.
It'd be
That
like,
would actually
it'd
be
be
quite
like,
funny. I'd like to see that.
and I saw this guy's fish room once that he'd built, and he had the tanks, and then he had like a PowerPoint directly underneath them, like where the water was going to drip. You know, I'm just thinking, what the hell? You know, I've seen this sort of stuff happen before, and it's just the recipe for disaster. With RCDs,
So for the
you're probably not
listeners,
going to get electrocuted, but it's going to
for the
be
listeners,
bad when water
who
gets
are
in
you
there.
talking about right now?
It's an unquotable source, that one.
It's Cam. Yeah, that was pretty. I think when I saw that, I bit my tongue because I was like, okay, it's obviously far too late to say anything, but like, that seems dangerous. That's like, you know how
So
in
I've
terms
got
of safety,
RCDs, and it's safe as shit.
An
but in terms of
RCD,
safety,
you're not going to get electrocuted, but it's just going to be dumb.
you'll break the heaters and stuff. But in terms
I
of safety, it's
haven't
like,
broken a heater yet.
okay, just in terms of safety, you know, you read the instructions and things. I always talk about drip loop. It's like, so for the listeners, imagine Cam put a PowerPoint right at the bottom of the drip loop. That's exactly what happened. I don't know if it could be more in the way if he tried, but if it worked, I'm not recommending it, but if it works, that's the most important thing. That's none of my business. So yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get electrocuted because there is an RCD there. So unless you're on a ladder and you get thrown off it by getting the small shock the RCD needs to work, you're probably not going to get hurt. But it's just going to have water dripping on it and soaking into the plugs and then shorting stuff out and stuff like that.
The only time I've
it's
had
a bad
issue
idea.
is when I accidentally tipped brine shrimp on it.
Well, don't do that,
Yeah.
and you won't have a problem. Think
Yeah,
about
But
it.
anyway,
I hadn't had a problem before that or after that, believe it or not.
So at least now you know PowerPoints and brain
Anyway,
shrimp, not the world's best combo.
Yeah,
No,
and-
apparently saltwater and electricity is worse
and-
than freshwater and electricity.
And definitely don't put fish tanks somewhere where you're going to be dropping water all over them. I'm sorry, don't put
Out of
PowerPoints
them.
somewhere where you're going to be dropping water on them. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, insulation and heating is a good one you can save some money on.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
This is mostly for people with
PowerPoint
fish
thing.
rooms in there.
Just back to your
What's that?
PowerPoint thing. There'll be many of our thousands and millions of people that listen to us that have probably got multi-boxes sitting behind their aquarium, under their aquarium, beside their aquarium on the ground. That is far more unsafe than my plugs right beside where they are.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. What I always say to people is you should hang them, because then you almost by default, like, just put a nail
Physically-
or like get 2-sided tape, and then you get an automatic drip loop, and just hang
physically
them on,
underneath
like, wall or
the
something.
tank, underneath the stand or something like that, so they can't get dripped on when you do a water change or you're catching a fish.
Yeah,
pretty
you
sure
should
you
put
can
an
get water
RCD.
inside the tank, inside the stand.
What's that?
Don't ask me.
Pretty sure you can get water inside the stand.
Well, if you are, then you've got bigger problems then,
Ryan,
as well as
if you,
electrical shock.
Maybe
Ryan,
the
if
problem
you
is
look at Kim's tank, you'll find the stand is very water damaged from the time I flooded it and blew up a multi-box on the inside of the stand. So
But
you've
you've
got
got
some
your
hands-on evidence.
I think
So
you're
you've
safer.
got
You're
a
safer for.
multi-box.
You're safer
You've got a
for to
multi-box
have it.
like that, and I've blown one of my outlets. So your multi-box had 4 plugs on it. My outlet's got like 30. So I think my idea is better than yours.
But
To be fair, it was hung and then it fell off, and I didn't notice until it had
But also-
2-sided tape sitting on the back
Who's
on the
hung?
top. Your
Also,
mum.
he was dumb and you're dumb, so you know, like.
Yeah,
anyway,
I would never recommend people take advice from me. That's crazy stuff.
But anyway, I'm just saying that in terms of drips, like if it's underneath the tank, inside the stand, it's less likely to get you dropping water on it when you're in and out of the tank or catching something or whatever, or pulling some rocks out, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, just think about it. Think about it. Think
And put
about
an
it.
RCD on it.
Yeah, RCDs are good.
Yep. So
Cool. Anyway,
I've got one more that I'd like to throw out for our planty people. If we've not alienated them by now, I've got a plant tip for them. So obviously, fish plants, like aquatic plants, is like a big thing, like a hobby in of itself. There's a couple problems with them. Number one, well, there's one
What,
problem.
aquascapers?
No, number one, buying them from a shop is very expensive. So like even like I know I sell plants for a lot of money. It's just because I have to. So if you're especially this tip is especially if you're after something less common. Like maybe for like your more common stuff, it doesn't matter. But if you're after something a little bit less common, like some specific crypt or like in the epiphyte plants that grow real slow, find other fish people to buy them off. So like for example, depends where you live, but if you've got a local fish club, buy it off them. Trade Me, Facebook, local groups, local fish keeping community groups and that. You can always buy plants for like hilariously cheap, or you can trade them. Like, oh, I've got this Java fern. Does someone want to trade this Java fern with me for some crypt, whatever? And then you can save a lot of money because, like, for example, if you buy like a fistful of Java fern from a fish store, it might be like
It's a
$20.
fistful of dollars. A fistful of
Yeah, it might
dollars,
be
yo.
$20, $30 or something, but you find some guy down the road who's just got it growing like nobody's business. He's like, I'll trade you one platy for this handful, and the platy is like a few dollars, maybe. So it's like you can save a lot of money and probably get better quality.
Can we add to that then as well fish? Because you can buy fish from hobbyists far cheaper as well. And if we're going to go down that route, we might as well just stop all fish shops and pet shops.
I don't know if I'd put fish in there, to be honest.
Why not? You can buy 1,000 plates from a breeder for like $10, and we have to charge $7 or $8 for them because fish are ridiculously expensive in the shop.
What I would say is with fish, you have to be a bit more careful because there is a lot more that can go wrong with a fish than it can go with a plant. But I find people with more problems. Yeah, but you can't.
Ultimately, you're wasting your money.
You can't get a plant with its jaw half hanging out. Which
we're not gonna go into the retail side of things, I don't think. But I do agree with you. Also, if you're buying from a hobbyist, often it's grown submersed, not immersed. So you might have
Ryan, the plant expert.
You might have a better chance of that plant actually living. Also,
that's kind of what I was hinting at with quality.
You're probably buying something that's designed to be in an aquatic environment and actually lives in an aquatic environment rather than something that's, what do they call them? Marginal plants that live in
stuff.
That can live in water. But
if you work out percentage-wise how many aquatic plants that are marginal to actually aquatic, it's a very small number. It's just there's some bigger retailers that are selling those small numbers and very, very big
large
numbers. Yeah.
The problem is they look so pretty, so more people buy them.
Correct. Like when you actually look through the plant lists that come through, 90% or higher are actually quite comfortably fine in aquariums, grown immersed but comfortably in aquariums. It's those 5% that look so awesome that the bigger chains buy, and then because they look awesome, people buy them, and then they go to shit. So it's not the fact that they're immersed or submersed that's the issue. It's terrestrial or terrarium plants that are sold in pet shops that are the issue. So you need to break that down a little bit more. It's nothing to do with the quality. It's actually the wrong type of plant that's being purchased to go in a fish tank. Wholesalers should do better, and the retailers should do better.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a thing that you run into a lot. But if you see them in someone's tank growing, and you see that they're growing in like where they've grown from, obviously that plant's going to grow underwater. So like you'll be safe in that sense. And then also, oftentimes, even just in terms of like quality, like again semantics. I don't know if it's quality, but like you just get bigger plants or like taller plants or like fatter leaves and like all this kind of stuff because it's like it's not a little bulb that's been like just propagated as fast as possible. It's like this plant that's been sitting there for like 3 years and now it's like, oh, I kind of want more space back. So you get like, oftentimes you'll see it like people get rid of like a massive Amazon sword that's like taken over the plant, tank, and it's like, I just want rid of it. Just give me $5 and I'm happy. That's not. Well,
there's a clear distinction between quality.
Anyway,
it's semantics. It doesn't really matter, but
I think we
can better plant basically.
I think we can say that you can save some money by shopping around and looking at where you source your things from. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
for
not
sure.
to go to shops. I'm not saying not to go to breeders. I'm just saying you can look around and but also be aware that sometimes when you're saving money, it can be a false economy if you're buying crap from someone.
Yeah, that happens a lot
So,
with
yeah.
African cichlids. So you do have to kind of know, just be a bit careful, I guess.
You
But,
might as
yeah,
well
and
just
you won't
buy
get
all of
plenty of
them
bargains
from
to be
Trade
found.
Me and breeders. You have to pick up some pretty decent blue dolphins on Trade Me, as opposed to going to a shop because they're far cheaper.
Anyway, we'll digress.
I don't know
But
if we
anyway,
should
I
talk
mean,
about
I
that.
think
That's a bit
why pay $50
awkward.
in a shop when you pay $5 for one on
think-
Trade Me?
I think for the average person that just wants to get some green plants in their tank, I mean, I give away plants to people that are starting out anyway. Just give them Java fern.
Because you're such a
and,
plant guru.
mate, I got a bucket. You know, when you're such an esteemed aquascaper as me, you often have plants everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So I give away Java fern and Java moss to people that are starting out, just to get them going.
Easy stuff.
And their tanks, and it grows, and their tanks got some plants in it, and they're happy. They don't care if it's submersed, immersed, or what it costs. They just got some green stuff in their tank, and all good, sweet.
Away we
Water
go.
plants, will it?
Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. So yeah,
Sweet as. Well, did anyone have any other options that they wanted to suggest that they will cry if we don't mention?
I don't, but I'd like to bring up that I think Ryan's background is really lovely, and I've been enjoying it all morning.
It's much nicer than the fish.
I agree. I think it was way nicer than your Tropius and everything else. So if
So
you could just please go to a Ponce Airbnb every week for when we record, that'd be fantastic. Thanks.
So for the
was
listeners,
actually-
we're looking at a field with trees and stuff.
It's just
This
gorgeous.
is I go away and I never book accommodation. I always do it on the night of when I'm going away. So I work for the day and then I jump on Airbnb and I just find somewhere random. I've never had to sleep in the truck yet. I will have to at some stage, I imagine. But it's just a sense of adventure for me. And this place came up. It was only 150 a night, and it's real flash.
It's
And the
gorgeous.
comparison was spending 120 and getting a single bed in someone's room and sharing a bathroom and kitchen and stuff was like a whole bunch of randoms that are boarding there as well. So I was like, I'll pay the extra $30 a night and get this. This looks amazing. So
Yeah, it looks
it's
like
really
a cool place.
Yeah. So
gorgeous.
Sweet as.
normally
All
I
right,
just
well,
normally
that'll
I just
wrap us
normally
up.
I just slum it when I'm going away for work to keep costs down. So this is pretty
Yeah,
nice
man.
for me.
Sell a few insect screens. You're staying at these 5-star resort type places. I mean, don't forget about
There was-
when you're famous.
There was one place on Airbnb that was 600 a night up here, and I was like,
Yo.
what? You know what I mean?
Yo,
I mean, who can't afford? I mean, obviously, I keep
You're-
fish, keep and
you're
breed
on that
fish,
type of
and
thing,
sell
Rob.
insect screens. So it's nothing. It's just a drop in the bucket for me. But
you followed all
really.
our money saving tips, and you've got more money for your Airbnbs.
yeah. So I do like the
I don't
Airbnb life. It's
I
cool.
don't want to rehash old wounds, but Helen's brought up a great point. Basically, do you want me to bring the comment up or just talk to it?
Oh shit, can we? I don't know how to do that.
I've got some business to attend
yeah.
to.
Hell,
Hey,
what's Clado?
algae.
I assume
So
algae.
because this
Sounds
is
like
an audio
something
format,
that sounds like
it's an audio
something
format.
that
Do you
a
want to read
kid
it out?
sounds like something that a kid would play with.
I think you mean Play-Doh.
Helen brings
yeah,
up
yeah.
a great point. Buying from a local person introduced Clado to my tanks. I would rather have paid more and passed on the algae.
Oh, it
That is
would
a
be
really good
algae.
point. There is other
Oh, yeah,
options,
okay.
things that can come
So
with
anyway,
it.
the thing with that is, and I've seen it too, that 99. I've seen more people complain about stores giving them snails and algae on their plants than private people. So it is a case of, I don't know what the answer is. Do more private people have more problems with pest things than shops?
I think no
I'd
matter
say
what,
probably
you got to
not.
be careful either way, I guess, because
But
it's hard to know.
What's that?
Percentage-wise, probably, because
I'd
there's
say
more
not,
people
because
keeping- but there's more
if you look
people
at it-
keeping aquariums than what there is people selling aquarium supplies. So percentage-wise, that would push it up significantly higher.
Anyway, I mean, we're arguing semantics anyway. I don't think it's worth it. But
This time we
yeah,
absolutely
we'll
are.
move on. Yeah, we'll carry on. I don't want to get into that one.
Sweet, would you want to wrap us up?
wrap you up. What? It's not Christmas yet.
Wrap up the
Hey-o.
episode that we've been going for 20 minutes over time.
Yeah, and I need to go. I need to take care of some business as well, so it's all good.
Taking care of business every day. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to go through Whangarei today and catch up with my mate and see some trophies. So that'll be cool.
Yo, sounds good. Can't beat some
Sounds
trophies.
Boring trophies.
Yeah.
Give me a tip
Yeah,
any day of the week.
He's got, I think, four different types, so that should be pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you're listening, did we get any lives? How many people did we get live? Like 2?
2.5.
3, I think.
Like 2 and a kid. So that's awesome. We
Yeah.
like. I'm not going to say that.
2.5.
Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time because we've got some paperwork to attend to.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Like and
See you
subscribe
later.
and all that stuff. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.